The administration's $400 million payment to Iran at the same time our American hostages were released is still raising questions at this hour, especially because one of the hostages told our own Trish Regan this.
They took you out of your prison and brought you to an airport?
Yeah, we were at the airport for a night, and, they told us...
You slept there at the
20
airport?
minutes. Yes, for a night. And, they told us we were going to be there for 20 minutes, but it took like hours and hours. We slept at the airport, and when I asked them why you don't let us go, because the plane was there, pilot was there, everyone was ready that we leave the country, they said we are waiting for another plane, and until that plane doesn't come, we never let you go.
The president says there is nothing nefarious about that.
What we have is the manufacturing of outrage and a story that we disclosed in January. And the only bit of news that is relevant on this is the fact that we paid cash.
Is it manufactured outrage? Let's ask Howie Kurtz, host of Media Buzz, and Dr. Zuhdi Jasser of the American Islamic Forum for Democracy. Zuhdi, to you first. How does it look to you?
Well, I think the president takes us for fools, and actually, I have to tell you, as a Syrian American, and I'm sure many Iranian Americans are just offended and find it offensive that the president would just lie to us. I mean, does he really think that we don't know what happens behind the scenes, that the team negotiating the prisoner release and the money return, the team negotiating the nuclear deal don't talk to each other in an Islamist tyranny? Right. Not to mention, he later said in that same response that the $150 billion is not going to be used for terrorism, while Josh Earnest said that it is going to be used for nefarious issues and things. And not to mention, it's being shipped to Syria. It's being used as a genocide by the Assad regime against innocent Syrians. I mean, it is just foolish. He's the one weaving the false tales.
Well, Howie, when he says the only thing that's different is that it was cash, yes, because we didn't have a banking relationship with a country of state-sponsored terrorism at the time. So can you imagine if ExxonMobil said, well, we weren't allowed to do it with actual transactions, so we just gave them cash? People would be arrested for that, right?
Well, the president has half a point in saying that the broad outlines of this deal with the unfreezing of Iranian assets were known months ago. But it's not just that it was cash, it was that it was sent on a plane the same day that these hostages, and that's what they were, hostages, were released. There's a lot of manufactured outrage in campaigns whipped up by detractors of a candidate. This is not a case of that. I think a lot of people really are upset and outraged at what is in all but name cash for hostages.
Well, here's the airplane with the hostages getting off it, and pretty much on the same weekend that the money was transferred. Zuhdi, the word ransom is certainly hair trigger. It gets people very upset. But the fact is that James Foley, the journalist who was beheaded in Syria, his parents were asked for a ransom. They were desperate to pay it, but they were threatened by the government saying, you don't do that because we don't pay ransoms. How must they feel right now?
Oh, absolutely. And the reason we don't is not only is it against the law, it's immoral, and it encourages these thugs to do more and call an open season on American citizens. That's why it's our policy. But for the president, well, they could have held it and said, you know what, we won't send that money until the hostages until the prisoners are released. So, that doesn't make sense that the two were unrelated. It becomes open season, and the way we do it is not by appeasement. American strength is dissipating, and the Iranians, this is why they're pushing through the region, spreading their terror across the planet through Hezbollah, through Assad, buying missiles from Russia. It is being used to hurt American security, and we cannot ignore that fact. The president expects us just to sort of go to sleep about it, but we cannot do that.
Howie, Zuhdi, thank you very much. Sorry we have so much breaking news. We had to compress it. We appreciate it. We'll get you next time. We're coming right back with more after this.